What if Dream had the ability to go into people's dreams? That could explain why he's always a step ahead of everyone, since a dream can reveal a lot about a person. We know that Quackity is going to visit Dream every day in prison. So what if instead of telling Quackity how to revive people, Dream told Quackity how to travel through people's dreams? Like in Fundy's dream, he probably misses the olden days. This could represent the explosion of L'Manberg. But keep in mind, they still have control over their own body since it is their own dream. This is Fundy's own mind writing to itself. To prove that Quackity's in his dream, that's Quackity's smile. In George's dream, it was a lot of the same concept. We see that Dream XD shows up. It could show that he missed his dream, and he's trying to get netherite. It could be the pressure of him having nothing while all his friends have netherite. Right before he wakes up, the last person he sees is Quackity. I don't think Quackity wanted much harm to George. That's why his dream wasn't as scary as Fundy's. A lot of people didn't catch this, but George is still self-aware. Like in the next clip.
George, are you sure you're awake right now? Are you dreaming again?
His subconscious mind knows that it's a dream. Though it might not be as obvious as Fundy's, he still knows. I mean, it's called the Dream SMP for a reason. Tubbo, Fundy, and George's lore might be connected. We know that Fundy and George's lore has to be related somewhat with sleeping and dreams. Well, look what we found on Tubbo's stream today. Somebody needs to tell him he must go to the north. If anyone can hear this, I stashed a book. It has instructions. He needs to wake up. He needs to wake up? Now, where have we heard the phrase, wake up from? From Fundy's lore. Everyone's lore is starting to connect in some way, and we are not far from the big penny drop. Something big is about to happen, and it's gonna happen very soon. But the thing is, who else might be dreaming? Each day we discover more and more people on the Dream SMP are actually dreaming. Could Techno be dreaming? Could Ranboo be dreaming? Could Carl even be dreaming? I've said this once and I'll say it again, it's called the Dream SMP for a reason. I hate to be the one to say this, but Michael is going to be used as a threat. And just so we're all clear, I'm talking about Tubbo and Ranboo's child. Let me tell you why Michael's going to be used as a threat. Attachments. It's not good when anyone on the server has an attachment to something. For example, the discs. It wouldn't be called the Dream SMP if people didn't threaten each other's attachments. Dream quite literally made a whole gallery of all the attachments people have on the server, just so he can control them. As long as people have attachments, it's not gonna end well. So let's circle back to Michael. Tubbo and Ranboo are both very attached and very protective of Michael, which is not good considering the fact that Dream is going after Tubbo the moment he gets out of prison. And I know for a fact the moment Dream finds out about Michael, it's not gonna end well for him. I don't wanna even think about if Michael dies. Tubbo and Ranboo are both gonna be heartbroken. I bet some people are saying, oh, they would just put Michael somewhere safer. Someone has already gotten to Michael without them noticing. Like whoever this is. Oh no, please. I must go now. And goodbye, Michael. If Michael's not in danger now, he will be soon. But the question is, how long can Tubbo and Ranboo truly protect Michael? George's dreams just got a lot more confusing. He's able to communicate with the dead through his dreams. In Sapnap's stream yesterday, we saw Mexican Dream. He seemed to be crying. When Sapnap and George asked why he was crying, this is what he said.
In the afterlife, man, I have dreams. I had a dream, man, that I went to visit Mexican L'Manberg. And Jorge was there, man. He was right there, man. This is where he had his dream, man.
The last time George woke up from that bed was when he realized that his dreams leaked into reality. But enough about that. How is George really having his dreams? We know the dead can have those dreams, but George isn't dead. Plus, there are more people on the server that has something similar to George. So why is everyone having these weird dreams? Why is there some type of hole between the living and the dead? What caused that hole? I mean, the answer is simple. Who do we know has been messing with things they're not supposed to? Who do we know knows things that they're not supposed to? Who do we know has been time traveling? Carl. When you go back in the past and change something, obviously it's going to affect people in the present. People started having these dreams ever since Tales of the SMP started. The thing is, Carl's not going to stop time traveling. So the hole between the living and the dead is just going to get bigger and bigger. Something important happened on the 16th that no one is talking about. I'm going to show two clips, one from Tommy's stream and one from Carl's stream. Try to find the two similarities from their streams.
It's the start of something new.
I think this hotel will be a new start. And we will not go back to the shitty ways of Wilbur and Jay Schlatt.
The similarities were the start of something new. Now you're questioning why that's so important, and I'll tell you why. The 16th was the day Wilbur blew up L'Manberg. A day of chaos, of destruction. Now I think both Tommy and Carl wants to change that. They don't want to think of the 16th as chaos and madness anymore. Because they're all tired. They're tired of fighting. They're tired of arguing. All they want is a happily ever after. And who knows, maybe for once in their life, they can actually get the happily ever after they wanted. Also, Puffy did say something about the beginning of something new, but I can't find it since she deleted the bot from yesterday. Tommy feels safer with Sapnap than with Wilbur. When Tommy's house burned down, he went to Sapnap. Let me remind you, Sapnap was someone he fought multiple wars against. He feels safer with Sapnap rather than Wilbur. Wilbur, someone who used to be a brotherly figure to him. Someone who was his hero. Was his hero. Now, he trusts Sapnap because he's changed. Sapnap went from fighting wars with Dream to threatening to kill Dream if he even steps a foot out of prison. Sapnap's changed for the better. I'm not saying Wilbur hasn't changed. After Wilbur spent years in the limbo, he came back as a better manipulator and a better liar. But recently, Tommy started to act and sound a lot like Wilbur. Every time Tommy encounters someone, he tells them to take off their netherite armor. He doesn't like armor. Remember the no armor rule Wilbur created? Wilbur hated armor. Wilbur didn't like people wearing armor because he wanted to portray a false sense of security. He wanted people to feel vulnerable, while Tommy wants no armor because he wants peace. When he thinks of armor, he thinks of war. The thing is, Tommy's building a new nation with Wilbur against Las Nevadas. Why is Tommy building a new nation with someone he doesn't trust? Fears, even. What are you planning under all that fear, Tommy? What are you planning? Technoblade got locked up in prison because he was the biggest threat to Dream escaping. The thing is, he isn't the biggest threat. George is. Yes, I'm talking about this George. Now hear me out. Whenever George goes to sleep, everything that he dreams, he can bring back to this reality. Any items, including things from potatoes to netherite armor. And I think everyone's forgetting the fact that he's friends with Dream XD. Dream XD has access to creative mode. That means if George asks to bring back anything from creative mode, Dream XD will give it to him. George can bring back any amount of TNT he wants. Nothing is off limits to George, including Sam's prison keycard. And George has a pretty good record. He doesn't even have any enemies against him. That's mostly because he's always asleep, but he also has a really good relationship with Dream. And he does miss him. We even saw in Quackity's lore that George was looking at the prison, debating if he should go in or not. The question isn't whether or not he's capable of doing it. The question is whether or not he wants to do it. Kanoko Kingdom is going to be burnt to the ground. On the past 2 lore streams Quackity has done, we've been hearing sirens, or something that sounds like an alarm. More specifically, a smoke alarm. And you're probably wondering why I mentioned a smoke alarm. Well, whenever there's smoke, there's fire. Judging by these 2 deleted tweets that Quackity tweeted out on his private Twitter account, the first one being Kanoko Kingdom on fire, the second being, those Kanoko Kingdom mushrooms look so much better engulfed in flames. I think that we can all come to a conclusion that he has something against Kanoko Kingdom. But also, keep in mind what else is in Kanoko Kingdom. Carl's books that he uses to remember what happened through time traveling. If Quackity really decides to burn down Kanoko Kingdom, all the memories that Carl has lost in the past will be for nothing. Enough about that. How will Quackity really burn down Kanoko Kingdom? A boring flint and steel, TNT, or maybe a nuke. More specifically, the nuke that Tubbo's missing. I mean, on Tubbo's streams, he's been hinting to us in the past that the nukes might be located in Kanoko Kingdom. I guess we just never thought about the fact that the nuke might be there for destruction instead of protection. You know what's gonna hurt more than Tommy's death? When Tubbo finally realizes that Rambo was the one who caused his death. It was supposed to be a one-time visit, but TNT exploded, causing him to be stuck with Dream. So let's take a look at all the suspects. Like, here's a list of all the people on the server when the explosions happened. There's Foolish, Rambo, and Sam. Foolish hasn't even interacted with Tommy that much, so there's no motive for him to kill Tommy. Plus, Sam is one of the only people that actually understand what Tommy went through during exile since Dream told him, so why would he trap Tommy in there? So then all we have is Rambo. And we know that Rambo gets controlled by Dream. Dream didn't want this time to be the last time Tommy visits him, so he controlled Rambo to set off those explosions. I don't think Dream meant to kill Tommy. I think he meant to trap him in there so he could manipulate him. But then once he saw that Tommy couldn't be manipulated anymore, that's when he killed him. But here's the thing, Tubbo doesn't realize that Rambo's being controlled by Dream, and neither does Sam. So they're all just gonna think Rambo backstabbed them. And Rambo's gonna be heartbroken when he realizes that he killed his first friend on the server. We saw something very important on Carl's Tales of the SMP from yesterday. We saw multiple versions of Carl Jacobs walking around the in-between, and when I say multiple, I mean like we saw like 30-some. None of them can see each other, and this one even walked through him. Everyone's questioning why there's so many versions of Carl. In my opinion, I think it's a time paradox. I think the in-between is run by Carl himself. Now hear me out. I think the in-between is run by Carl, the first Carl. As in the first Carl that could time travel. Every single time he could time travel, he tried fixing what couldn't be fixed. It always ended in something bad. So he brought in different Carls from different timelines to try to see if there's a different outcome. He tries his best to change the future, but what is he so afraid of that's in the future? Something bad is about to happen and he can't stop it. We got a lot more information about the in-between, like how he has to try to get into a portal, and how it's more important than he knows. It also makes it very clear to not stray away from the path. That's not where it gets interesting. Where it gets interesting is where he went under the tree and found 2 books. It says, "Thank God you found it. It can't see you down here. Don't trust this castle. Don't want to know the truth about all those other forms of you." We don't know who's writing this, and we don't know who to trust. Do we trust the in-between or the person who's writing this? But then here's what the in-between wrote him. The in-between is such a gorgeous place, isn't it? Smiley face. I can't wait to see you again here soon. Smiley face. The SMP needs you and you need me. We make a good team. Another smiley face. It is a time traveler's dream. A lot of people think it's Dream, but Dream is known for this smile, not this one. The people who even use these are just Carl himself. Is the future Carl writing to himself, or is it Dream? Something very strange happened on Carl's Tears from the SMP. It started off with this book, but then everything started glitching, and I'll show you in the next clip. The in-between is starting to seem a lot more suspicious. Another example. I can tell you aren't yourself as much lately. Must be having some crazy, terrible, and screwed imagination. This is not a place to provoke harm, but a place to feel at ease. Carl is finally realizing the truth of the in-between, but the in-between blows it off and acts like it's all in his head. The in-between tries his hardest for Carl not to go through the portal, but Carl goes through anyways, and this is what he finds. Though this looks scarier, I trust this way more than the in-between. The in-between has a wither rose while the other side has a white tulip. The wither rose is kind of a symbol meaning evil or bad. For example, when the egg took over Hannah's house, there was a wither rose. The white tulip, on the other hand, means something fresh, something new. And is the other side truly safe? Wait, hold on. I've heard a lot of people say that the whole reason of the bloodvines and egg is to kill Tommy. That would explain why Tubbo cries around the egg. It's because it reminds him of his best friend dying. And supposedly, Tommy was supposed to die during the Disc War if Punz didn't came to help. And people are saying that Carl traveled back in time to put more stuff in Punz's chest so he would come and save Tommy and Tubbo. And Carl does that because he's seen all the other outcomes of Tommy dying and what would have happened. He knows that the best possible outcome is having Tommy alive. And in a way, Tommy is immortal. Wait, hear me out. Because if he dies, Dream can just bring him back to life, but bringing Tommy back to life will also bring back Schlatt and Wilbur. And they've stated that he's the main character of the Disc Saga and the main character kind of in general. But what will happen to the egg if it can't get Tommy? The whole purpose of it is to get Tommy.